Hello and welcome everybody to episode 172 of today's News Tonight. This is, of course, the weeknight news show where we're joined by special guests, our lovely patrons, and our amazing YouTube audience to discuss the day's gaming news. I'm your host for today's episode, Ash Paulson, and today I'm joined by my good friend and GVG co-founder, Derek Bittner, along with our amazing art director, Daniel Alba, and our very, very, very special guest, superstar manga letterer and beloved GVG community member and mod, Brandon Bovia. Brandon, how's it going, man? The other Brandon.
Oh yeah, I'm the other one. I'm the shadow that lives under Brandon Miracle. We can never, aside from that time that we did like that Monster Hunter stream, we can never be seen in the same space at the same time. So I'm
nice.
Well, the universe ended when that last happened, so we're trying to prevent it again.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, we're trying to build it back up again. So that was nice. that was his mistake. I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
It's fine. But
gotcha.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again. I guess,
dude, it's our pleasure.
Yeah, I see that there's some folks in the chats who recognize me. I'm a freelance manga letterer, so I'm a part of the manga industry. I work on some books here that folks might recognize, like Dragon Ball Z and Kaiju
Hell
number
yeah.
8. Kaiju number 8 in particular is my baby, and this print edition just came out at the beginning of the month. Please buy it because I put dozens and dozens and dozens of hours of work into it.
That is a sick cover.
Also, it's a really good manga. So.
I've heard really good things about it, yeah. And I said before, I think the last time you were on the show, because of my work history with Udon Entertainment, I've worked closely with a lot of letterers over the years, and I know how hard work it is. Like, lettering is hard, painstaking work, so you have all my respect. Because I don't feel like a lot of people get to work that closely with letterers specifically, and I'm lucky enough to have been able to. So, dude, all the respect to you, man. And and you call yourself a freelance manga letterer, but don't superstar.
I am. Yes. It's yeah.
Yeah.
Also, getting into the podcasting scene.
Oh yeah, I'm also a podcast co-host now for some reason.
Yeah,
just because you're awesome, and I couldn't think of any. I honestly, I was like, had the idea. I was like, I bet Brandon would be good for this. I wanted to reach out for him. So for those who don't know, starting next week on my personal channel and all that, I'm going to be starting a One Piece podcast with Brandon here. Where we read through 5 chapters of the One Piece manga, starting from the very beginning, each and every week. And get to hear our thoughts on it. So we have currently 6 episodes in the can. Just need to edit them. 3 episodes edited. Need to get the others as we're going along. But we're a little ahead of the game. Try as much as possible. But you can look forward to those next week. And I think Brandon's done a phenomenal job.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from you.
No doubt.
Thank you so much.
It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that's the key
a lot
thing.
of fun. And, I don't work on One Piece, but it is basically like tied for my favorite manga of all time. So
it's up there for me. That's why it's like
I got a lot to say about it.
Right.
Here's the crazy thing, Ash. So with us doing 5 chapters a week and trying to catch up to it, I did the math. As of right now, with that schedule, if we hit every week reading through it, that is 4 years worth of content till we reach the point that we're at right now.
Yeah, we would catch up if the manga stopped coming out right now. We'd catch up in 4 years.
Yes, but maybe it'll finish in 4 years. Who knows?
Maybe.
Right. One of my best friends is super hardcore into One Piece, and he's recommended One Pace to me to get me caught up on the important stuff faster. He says that there's a lot of filler, at least in the anime, and so he's like, if you're going to watch One Piece, check out One Piece just to kind of get you caught up to speed a little faster.
Yeah.
Well, what are your thoughts on One Piece?
My personal issue with it is that it uses some of the really like outdated fan subs, so it's sort of a it's sort of a harder push for me, and I'm try to get people to engage with the official versions as much as I can. I'm biased in that way. Sorry.
I honestly, like when I first watched the original One Piece, I think the pacing is pretty good early on.
It takes a little while for it to get really bad, but
and there is a point where it gets really bad, and then you can find people's like, okay, skip to this episode and you'll be fine.
Yeah. I think I mean the pacing issues aside, I think people sort of underplay the benefits of the anime. which is, sometimes the directing and the animation quality is actually fantastic. And like the soundtrack is fantastic. The voice cast in both Japanese and English is great, and the pacing hurts less when you're marathoning it. If you're watching the anime week to week, it's pretty rough sometimes.
Yeah. Sure.
I flew through it in college.
Binge,
just having
a binge session, it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But
gotcha.
If you're just looking for speed, the manga is pretty much the way to go.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Plus,
all right.
I didn't mind a lot of the filler because I just like being with the characters.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. That makes sense. Well, we do have a few top of show things to get through before we get to the news. First of all, a few GVG community member birthday shout outs. Yesterday, December 28th, was 3 separate birthdays. Fyrus, Vedron, and 112 all had their birthday yesterday, December 28th. Happy belated birthday to all 3 of you.
Happy birthday to all of you.
What is up with December? We say it all the time.
I know, a lot of December babies.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
happy
birthday to you all. And I hope that means that you still get Christmas and birthday presents separately, and they're not all merged into one. I hope you still get the benefit of both. But no, we love all of you, and happy birthday to you all. Hope you had a great birthday yesterday. Something a little sadder, not something I wanted to have as a full news story, but if you've ever been to a GameWorks, well, it's gone. GameWorks has officially shut down all over the U.S. It's dead, Jim. It is completely gone, and I just wanted to mention this because I used to go to GameWorks. My dad used to take me to GameWorks, and I've been to plenty of GameWorks, and it's just a little sad. Like, do you guys have any fond memories of going to a GameWorks?
I've actually never been to one.
There's no. I'm looking here at the locations: Chicago, Cincinnati, Denver, LA, Las Vegas, Minneapolis, and Seattle. So, yeah, not anywhere near any of those.
Fair enough.
What is a GameWorks?
It's like a giant. It's almost like like the prototype Dave and Buster's. I think it's cooler than Dave and Buster's personally, but it's basically just like a giant arcade / bar / the entertainment center, right? Adult entertainment center.
Okay.
But GameWorks tended to have better. Wow. Well, not that kind of adult entertainment. But they just tended to have better games, I think, than Dave and Buster's. So it's that kind of place, like giant multi-story arcade owned by Sega, lots of Sega games. So just gonna miss it. It was a fun thing to do if you're as into games as we are as a kid. So a lot of fun.
Oh my God, their food looks pretty good too. I'm looking at some of their milkshakes and holy crap.
Yeah. No, you know what? Their food was pretty good. And the game, I think GameWorks is where I first played my first Sonic the Fighters arcade game. That was the first time I ever saw Sonic the Fighters in the arcade. And back then I didn't even know there was a Sonic fighting game. So it was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing. So yeah, it's just a cool place like that. But it unfortunately is gone. So RIP GameWorks. Something else that's also kind of interesting is Sonic Chronicles. Remember that game? Over the holiday break. Yeah, I think most of us try not to. But over the holiday break, the game's lost animated intro was released, and it's kind of an interesting piece of history. I'm going to pop it into chat here. It's from, here we go. It's a Twitter link. And cool, I just popped it into both our live audience patron chats and our YouTube chats. And it's just really cool. It's not like the best animated intro ever, and you can see maybe why it wasn't used, but it's still kind of a cool piece of lost history. So if you're into Sonic, you're into things like this. By the way, this comes by way of Jonathan Cooper on Twitter, who released this. And it's pretty cool. It's kind of anime style.
There's some models where it looks pretty good. Others where it looks ugly as sin. It moves pretty well.
Yeah.
But
me and Derek had the opposite reaction before the show started.
You're like, oh, it's so pretty. I'm like, oh, it's ugly.
I like how it flows.
Yeah.
Why?
I do like how it
always has white teeth when you're far away. Would they do that close up of his teeth and he has all yellow and separated? It's like, what? No.
His teeth is really weird. Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
That's like bad fan art of it. And, I actually got the sound when I was trying to look through it. Apologies.
Yeah.
But looking at Sonic's model, he's on model sometimes. Other times he looks straight out of Sat AM or Adventures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just kind of a cool little piece of lost history there. I'm glad this got uncovered. I love things like this.
Yeah.
What I don't love, and I thought about making this a full news story, but how long can you really talk about a canceled Mega Man game? It's just too sad. I didn't want to bring things down, but this also came out during the holiday break on December 23rd specifically. So the news is also almost a week old, which is another reason I didn't want to run it as a main news story. But turns out there was yet another canceled Mega Man game that we never even found out about until now, and that is a third Mega Man ZX game, codenamed Mega Man ZXC. It was and this came up during an interview with Inti Creates, and a lot of what was being worked on for ZX3 development was shifted to Mega Man 9. So, we still got Mega Man 9, and that's an amazing game, but as those of us who played Mega Man ZX and ZX Advent know, Advent leaves off on a massive cliffhanger. Absolutely.
It didn't need
massive.
to. They just decided to for some reason. I guess they wanted it to be a trilogy, but it's still dumb.
Yeah, it's really just a damn shame. And there's a few more details at the interview here at Proto Dude's Rockman Corner. So I'll go ahead and pop that link into chat as well if those of you who are super into Mega Man like I am want to check it out. But I didn't think it was worth making a full news story.
Sorry.
Honestly, there are as many canceled Mega Man games as there are blades of grass on the earth at this point. So
I was going to say we're going to be uncovering canceled Mega Man games until the end of time.
Seriously, next we're going to find out that X9 was in development and canceled at some point.
It wouldn't shock me.
Me neither. It really wouldn't. So yeah, kind of a downer. If you're being a Mega Man fan, while awesome, is a rough thing sometimes. It can be a little painful.
Yeah,
a lot of painful.
Yeah,
or a lot of painful.
A lot
Jesus,
of painful.
I'm still on my I'm on my holiday break still.
It would have been cool if this would have led into the creation of it's been too long since I played Legends. The arc that's in in space in Legends. Start setting that.
Yeah.
Stuff up.
The Elder System, right?
Yeah.
That was the I can't remember what the actual satellite's called, but the Elder System was what Legends 3 was. That was the big cliffhanger going into it. What is that? And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
they started
maybe someday.
Honestly, in retrospect, it's kind of amazing that the Zero series had a complete arc.
It is. It really is. The Zero series still stands, in my opinion, as the best complete story in the Mega Man series. It's really well told, and it actually has a proper ending. And so does Battle Network, but I feel like Zero has the way the arc of that story and his personal arc. It's really well told, and at least we got that. At least we got that.
I can make you hurt more, Ash.
Please hurt me more.
The reason it was named ZXC, the C stands for classic, so it would have been able to play as have Proto Man, the original Mega Man base in there as some of the bots you could transform into.
That would have been interesting, as long as it made sense in the story context. Otherwise, I just feel like it was empty fan service. But that would be really cool. I just figured it standard for canceled. Mega Man ZX canceled. That's just kind of where I went with it. Unfortunately,
that hurts.
It really does, doesn't it? All right. Well, before we get to the news, we do have a couple of super chats. First, Jaden Buck with $2. Thank you very much. Brandon, I'm going to let you take this one because it is.
Oh, let me see this. Oh, it's in Japanese.
So, yeah.
He says, Brandon-sama ga kaite kimashita, which just means that Brandon's back, and the sama is a very form of polite speech that I don't think I'm really deserving of. But
hey, don't sell yourself short, man.
Very formal.
Don't even sell yourself short. You are totally deserving of the sama honorific, in my opinion, at least. So, Sonic and Mega Man 531, thank you so much, with $5, saying, "Hey, have you guys heard of JT Music? If not, check it out because I just listened to the Halo Infinite rap. It's good."
Ooh.
I have not heard of JT Music. Have any of you?
Nope.
No, I have not.
Sorry.
No. That sounds interesting, though. I have listened to some video game inspired rap before, like Mega Ran, and I've always enjoyed him. But I've not heard of this or the Halo Infinite rap, so I'll make a mental note to check that out later. Thank you very much, Sonic and Mega Man.
Yeah, that sounds sick.
Nice.
And finally, we have $4.99 from Color Hurts. Thank you so much. Nice to see your name in chat again, Color Hurts. Saying, about to watch it VR. I hope y'all give me motion sickness. Wow. I had never even thought of watching TNT in VR. Yikes. Well, as long as you want the motion sickness, then I hope we give you motion sickness too. But that's kind of a weird thing to hope for. So, I hope you get through the episode with, the level of motion sickness that you want, whatever that may be. All right. Well, with all that said, we do have some news to talk about today. So, let's go ahead and get that first story up on screen, and it has to do with Final Fantasy XVI. Let's do it.
I will do that right now. There it is. Sorry, I'm a little further up than I usually am. Good.
All good. So, I have talked a little bit, quite a bit actually, on previous episodes of TNT about how FF16 producer Naoki Yoshida had promised that there would be new info about FF16 sometime during 2021. And then it didn't happen at any of the PAXs. It didn't happen at E3. It didn't happen at the Game Awards. And I'm just kind of like, well, it's probably not going to happen. And as we all kind of assumed, yeah, it's not happening. He posted a message on FF16's Twitter account, basically, saying, hey, I know I promised this. It's not going to happen. Here's why. And basically he's apologizing, which this man and his transparency, I just love it. But essentially, the reason that we haven't gotten the planned updates to FF16 that said we were going to, COVID, obviously. Everyone knew probably COVID had something to do with it. But because of COVID, they've had to decentralize their workforce by having staff work from home. But that has also hampered communication from the Tokyo office, which in turn has led to delays in, or in extreme cases, cancellations of asset deliveries from their outsourced partners. So that's kind of the long and short of why there's been no update on FF16 as planned. But he does add that they have spent much of the year addressing this issue and hope that its impact will be brought to a minimum by the new year. And basically, he leaves it by saying they're planning to conduct their next big reveal / info dump in spring of 2022. So we only have a few more months to wait, it sounds like, before we get that really big planned update on what's going on with FF16. But I've been talking a lot. Brandon, you're our special guest. How are you feeling right now about FF16, what we've seen so far? Where are you at? Where's your head on this?
So I saw that Imran Khan on Twitter mentioned that Forspoken and 16 were originally intended to bookend 2021. Mm-hmm. And now Forspoken is it's April, May, I think, of 2022.
Somewhere around there,
yeah. May. It's like May 20-something. Yeah.
Something like that. So we might actually see, we could see 16 at the holiday season or maybe early 2023. Mm-hmm. Which I think would be pretty excited. I'm really, I'm a casual Final Fantasy fan. The 7 and Remake are the only ones I've beaten. But I'm really excited for 16. It just, it looks cool. And while I'm not at all into 14, I've been respecting Naoki Yoshida's sort of development transparency from a
amazing
distance. Yeah. And so even though we didn't get any news this year, the fact that he's so upfront about hey, this just didn't work out, and of course I imagine we all figured the answer was COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but I appreciate that he didn't just say it's COVID and leave it at that. Yeah. They're it's COVID, but here's how COVID impacted the development pipeline. And I think that level of transparency is really rare and really refreshing. And I feel like a lot of people could learn something from him. Although I do wonder how Square Enix feels about that level of honesty sometimes. But they haven't muzzled him. They don't stop him.
I mean, he's literally making the most money out of any Final Fantasy ever for them. So
give him the keys to the kingdom.
What do you think, Daniel?
Exactly.
Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing more news about this game this year as well. But I'm still very thankful for Yoshida's transparency and communication. That kind of communication is something you don't really see very often in the gaming space, and to be able to have a much clearer idea instead of just keep waiting, it'll happen, just stay tuned, but just to have a set kind of window of when we're going to hear more news about it is very refreshing to hear. And I mean, people are plenty occupied with Final Fantasy XIV in the meantime, and there's a lot of stuff else we're up and trying to finish from just 2021. So honestly, if it takes more time to polish this game, if they need more time for these kind of resources for people working at home, then I say go for it. I mean, we take all the time you need, Yoshida.
It was fun for me to see non-Final Fantasy 14 fans get to see this man, how this man works. That's fun.
Yeah.
that was kind of the thing for me, is like just seeing how everybody just reacted so well to Yoshida's transparency, and just has like, I looked at the comments and all of them are just like, take your time. Take your time.
I love that.
And it's such a difference to other Final Fantasies, because we get the announcement of a Final Fantasy and then it goes dark for how long, or Kingdom Hearts, and it's just complete opposite of Nomura. It's just
yeah.
And I do wonder how this affects release timelines, because I had originally pegged FF16 as a 2022 release, and now with these development delays, I'm not so sure. It could still maybe sneak in by the end of the year. It's possible. But it may also be early 2023, and that in turn would make me wonder when we might see FF7 Remake Part 2. I want to believe that it won't be a 2024 game. I don't want to wait that long, but of course I'll wait as long as it takes for them to get it right. But I do wonder how that affects the release timeline beyond 16, because I think we all kind of have been assuming that Remake Part 2 would come after 16. Maybe not. I guess it's possible it could come first, but I think 16 is first in line. So we'll see how it goes, but yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, one last thing. Do y'all remember when they had this big like pomp and circumstance event to reveal the release date for 15, and then
I was there
by a month anyway? Oh, you were there.
I was at that. It was called Uncovered, I think. Uncovered FF15. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got an invite because it was right next to where I live in LA. It was like 15 minutes away. And so my wife and I went, and as you said, Brandon, they made this big hullabaloo about the release date, and then they didn't even make it. I don't,
Just,
and I mean, look, video game production's hard. I'm not saying but maybe they should have not made planned a whole media event around this release date, unless they were 180 million% sure they were going to make that date. It was such a weird.
What we're getting right now is the opposite of that. Just them saying like, "Hey, this isn't quite going as planned." Here's what we're going to do next. Easy.
I have a feeling when 16 is shown again, it's going to blow some minds. To see it in a more finished state, because that's the thing they were being realistic. They weren't like, here's what we're shooting for, a la Final Fantasy 13's reveal. In the first trailer we saw of that, it's like, here is what it's going to be in its current state, and go from there. It's a bit more grounded, which threw you off a little, Ash. I'm curious if 16 is going to blow your mind when it is shown again.
Me too. Like I said before, I'm instantly excited for any new mainline Final Fantasy game, except in the cases of MMOs. Not because I know 14's amazing. I just don't play MMOs really. I don't have time. But 16, when we got that reveal trailer, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like I got kind of a Western RPG vibe from the art style, like the muted colors and the character designs, and that's not a bad thing. It's just not my thing, but I'm still not going to write it off because it's Final Fantasy, and I'm a hardcore Final Fantasy fan. So where I'm at right here is like cautious excitement. Like I'm hoping that it's going to blow my socks off. But you know what? If it doesn't, and it turns out that maybe it's not my vibe, I already know Remake Part 2 is coming, and that is 100% my thing. So, I'm not going to complain either way, but I'm not even close to writing it off. It's Final Fantasy freaking 16, man. Of course I'm excited about it just on principle. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the big info dump of new assets and just new footage. And they are saying now that he said in his message on Twitter that, with the delay issue, hopefully having had its impact brought to a minimum by the new year, that will allow them to focus more on the remaining tasks at hand, which are increasing graphic resource quality, refining combat mechanics, fleshing out individual battles, putting the finishing touches on cutscenes, and conducting overall graphical optimization. And that all sounds, great.
It sounds like it's really close, actually. They're getting there. It's not.
It does.
It's getting polished right now. We could, depending on how those other problems are solved, we could see it in 2022. I don't know.
That's why I was thinking, like, maybe it could still sneak out as a late 2022 game if that's how they want to position it. It sounds like they're further enough or far along enough in development that maybe that's possible. But of course, that's just anecdotal. We're just reading into that. with Naoki's wording here. So who really knows? But we'll find out more in spring. And, with the way time flies these days, spring will be here. We're going to blink and spring will be here, basically.
I can't even think Final Fantasy 16 with all of the other stuff going on in 2022. I'll be playing so many other things. So I'll be like,
it's going to be a nightmare.
That, whatever. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I can't believe that we're basically a month and a half away from Horizon Forbidden West already. When did that happen?
Yeah.
That's like
we got
so
Pokemon
close.
Legends coming at the end of January. Horizon
Pokemon is a month away.
We can hold ourselves over with
Daily
Stranger
begins.
of Paradise. That's
Yeah.
the true Final
And that's
Fantasy
true.
experience.
And that's true. Pokemon Legends a month away. Actually, slightly less now, I think. Right? So
Yeah.
time chaos. All right. Well, we do have some other news stories to discuss, but before that, we have one more super chat from Late Night Sprites with $5. Thank you so much, Late Night Sprites, saying, for Xmas, I got Cruisin' Blast, eShop cards, and chocolate. One of my shows is being performed, gifted a musical writing class, and Johnny doing Mega Man content. Well, those are awesome. Oh, go ahead, Derek.
I was gonna say it sounds like, just to try to figure that out, is like one of their musicals being performed, which is awesome. Congratulations! That's huge.
That's awesome. Congratulations!
Yeah.
And you were gifted. I see. And you were gifted a musical writing class. Is that it?
Or maybe it's a gifted musical writing class that's being performing it. Best I can tell. And I think Johnny is Some Call Me Johnny. He just released a
Some Call Me Johnny.
I think it looks like he's doing Mega Man content. Not sure what kind.
Yeah.
It might be Zero because he's done X as well. So Zero would be next in line.
Yeah. I binged a bunch of his X videos recently.
Nice.
Me too. And they were great. I mean, Some Call Me Johnny is always great.
Of course.
I love that man.
Does not miss.
And he's my fellow coffee stan. He and I, like, our whole brand is coffee. I love that.
He might have you beat.
Possibly, he might. But also great Christmas gifts, Late Night Sprites. Cruisin' Blast, I've been evangelizing that game forever now. I'm so glad you got it. Go buy Cruisin' Blast, everybody. It's so good. eShop cards and chocolate. Who doesn't love chocolate?
Of course. So much chocolate.
Yeah. Actually, weirdly enough, my wife doesn't like chocolate, and I don't. So thankfully, whatever she gets, I just get. She gives to me. Because
that works out.
Person.
That works out.
Exactly. All right. Well, we do have some more news to discuss, so let's go ahead and get that second story up on screen.
Real quick. I'm sorry. Late Night Sprites is in the patron chat.
Great.
Explaining more. One of my plays is being performed, and I got gifted a masterclass on writing musical. So beautiful, awesome.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for the clarification. Late Night Sprites.
Also, a $10 super chat from DJ McCarthy. Says, good vibes needed. Currently in a hotel room battling COVID. Oh, God. Can't go home since I don't want to get my girlfriend sick. Thankfully, the worst part is over. Just need to wait 5 days, then I'm free. Ugh. I'm so sorry.
Get well soon.
All the good vibes to you.
Yeah,
I'm glad the worst part's over. It just sucks you're stuck in a hotel room. Yeah. Hopefully you have your Switch or something to play while you're stuck in there, or binge a lot of movies, something. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, it'd be bad enough to have COVID at home, but be stuck in a hotel room, dude. I can't even imagine. As Derek said, all our good vibes go out to you, and we just hope you get better soon. You can get back home to your girlfriend. Really sorry about what you're going through, and we hope TNT brings you a little bit of levity during your COVID experience. Okay, well, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our second news story, about which the only thing I have to say is, gotta Lego fast. So let's get that up on screen. So you may remember from months ago on TNT, we talked about a Lego idea submitted by a user to basically get a Lego Green Hill Zone Sonic set officially cleared. And all these months later, Sonic the Hedgehog Green Hill Zone Lego is official. It's real. It's going to cost $70. And it's weird. I could have sworn when I was sourcing the news today that it was the website said it was coming soon on January 4th, but now it says January 1st, and I don't know if I thought I saw 4th, and I don't know. It's either coming on January 4th or January 1st, but it's coming soon either way. And guys, I love this thing. I'm not a Lego fan, but this I would buy. If you got
this
all
looks
7
so much better than what Mario got.
So much better. Yeah. So
I can display this and people will know what they're looking at. That's nice.
Yeah. I had like zero interest in buying the Lego Mario sets, but this one, I might actually have to pick up and put together because it looks fun to build and it looks cool to display, as you were saying, Derek.
Does say 18 plus on the box?
Yes, I guess it's because it might be complicated.
Maybe. I mean,
I don't know anything about Lego age ratings, but
yeah, I mean, as far as I know, this doesn't have anything to do with Sonic 2006, and
for all the old
that
people
was
that grew up with the Genesis. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of all the old people with the Genesis, did any of you see the video, like the trailer they made for this?
No, I need to watch that.
I've not seen that.
Yeah,
it's really cool. I'm gonna post it for everybody in chat because it's pretty great. A lot of nostalgia in it. There we go. I just posted in our patron chat.
According to Marnandez in the YouTube chat, saying all idea sets are 18 plus, just a choice by Lego, really.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I imagine it might do something with complexity rather than
Yeah.
Oh, that bedroom. Sorry, I'm looking at the trailer.
Oh, no.
Okay, I just posted the trailer in our crew channel as well, Derek.
What struck me as weird was the fact that Lego Sonic was in Lego Dimensions, but there's no Lego Sonic set. It's like, wait a second, why is that not a thing?
Right. And I'm so glad it is now because, as I said, this is something I would totally buy and put together, despite not being a big Lego fan myself. And I love the trailer with the lava lamp in the room. It's like so, and it has the superior box art, the Mega Drive box art.
They actually showed Green Hill from Sonic Adventure 2. That's amazing.
Yeah, that is where it's from. That's crazy.
Right? I thought the same thing. I'm like, they really dug deep for this trailer. It's really cool.
They dug out an old phone.
Yeah, the old Nokia phone with the Dreamcast.
Oh. Yep. I love how he just throws the phone away. He's like,
oh man, they ended on Forces. Oh.
I know, it hurts.
They rescued Sonic at the end there where he pulls out the thing.
Yeah.
I love he has the 7 chaos pegs.
Yeah.
And poor Eggman, unfortunately, again, for the second time in this one show, does not look too well as far as conforming to the restrictions of the materials, the source material.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
His nose looks horrifying.
That's the main, I guess that's the only part of this that I'm not crazy about is the way Eggman looks, but everything else, as far as I'm concerned, is just a hit.
The spring bounces, the little motor bug has a different exchangeable face. Oh, that's so nice. All the little attention to details looks great. There's so many Lego Lego of sets that you could make from so many different franchises. Like I remember during the last year when this was submitted, there was also an example of a Metroid one as well. And that one looked really cool too.
That one looks so
Mr.
good.
Ship and whatnot.
Yeah.
And there was another Sonic one that unfortunately didn't get made into a full set, or at least hasn't yet, but it was Chemical Plant Zone. And I remember how cool it looked. We talked about it on the show, and it looked really cool. Unfortunately, it isn't an official set, but yeah, I remember the Samus's gunship, right? It was the gunship.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See,
and it looks so
future Sonic set, we got to have City Escape. That way we can have, build your own giant gunship chasing after Sonic.
A little surfboard.
It's like a huge downhill San Francisco slope. Yes, please.
I want that.
Please. Please.
That would be awesome. There's so much you can do with Sonic in terms of Lego. Like, I mean, there's so many great set pieces in various levels. And I'm just thinking of, there's just so much you could do. I mean, a Hidden Palace Zone would be really cool. Just a Hidden Palace Emerald Altar. Just that.
Ooh, that would be good.
Yeah.
Sky Sanctuary.
It's a brand that's such primarily built for merchandise like this. And it's, man.
Studiopolis.
Studiopolis would be cool. Lego Chow Garden.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. There's so much they could do.
Fantastic footnote in the YouTube chat asking if we saw the tall neck from Horizon Zero Dawn being made into Lego. Did you see that, Ash?
No, I didn't.
I did miss that.
Yeah, that one looks real good.
Oh, I gotta see that. Hang on, I'm looking it up right now. Oh, that's cool.
That is sort of custom made for like just works as a Lego.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I would.
That really does.
I think a machine from Horizon would break me. I think that would get me to build a Lego kit. I mean, because I already build Gundam model kits anyway. So
I mean, it's basically that.
I have an obsession with robots.
Yeah.
So just put me over the. I mean, that's basically Zoids at that point. Like,
basically,
that's such a cool idea.
Yeah. Oh
Holy
man.
Crap.
With all these cool sets being announced, I might need like a Lego room, like to get a new Lego room in my apartment because, man, as I said, I'm not a Lego guy, but these new sets are starting to really appeal to me, and at least the Sonic one, I think I really want to get. I really do.
Be fun to display.
It's a dangerous addiction.
It is because they can get expensive.
They're a little pricey. That's one of the reasons I never got into. I like putting stuff together. Like I used to put together little model cars as a kid with my dad, and that was fun. So I like building those kinds of things. But Lego sets tend to be a little bit pricey, as you guys said. So that's one of the reasons I never really got into them in earnest, I guess. Oh, as Spicy the Gingerbread Panda Otter, says, they cost an arm and a leg go. Oh. I love it. This is really cool stuff, and I might have to spring for this. It's really, really neat. Mm-hmm. And I feel like even though Lego tends to be pricey, what it looks like you're getting with this seems to be pretty fair for $70.
You will have, several hours of, playtime here, and and it's, a nice display.
Yeah.
So I will say, tangentially related. I've one of my friends gifted me like a $300 Gundam kit a couple years ago.
Oh, cool!
And I broke a couple pieces in the building process, and that was maybe the most just like I'd ever felt.
Yeah.
It came out all right, but I don't move it for that reason.
Right.
So, building expensive sets can
I couldn't do it. My hands are too big and no.
Yeah.
I don't have the precision.
And as folks are noting in our YouTube chat, the Horizon Lego, the actual there's no actual picture revealed yet of the set, but just the idea of a tall neck.
Oh, I thought I saw. Maybe it was just a concept picture then.
Might have been.
Oh, maybe because I looked it up, but I didn't see a picture yet of the actual model. But I was reminded of what the tall necks look like, and that's so perfect for a Lego set. Also, Brian Camargo 64 with all the good Sonic Lego ideas: Casino Night Zone, Stardust Speedway. So there's so many things you could do.
Oh yeah,
you could literally just go down the line.
Sonic Zone is perfect for a Lego set. In fact, they should do that, and people would buy them.
I want a Death Egg robot Lego. Just build the Death Egg robot. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
I think they showed that in the concept, so I think that's a thing.
So. Hopefully, it'll become an official thing, a capital T thing.
I do enjoy the idea of having the. Sorry, go ahead.
There's a question in the YouTube chat. Soulcaster asking $300. What was it of? It was a perfect grade Unicorn Gundam, which,
oh, cool.
For the folks who know what that is.
I think Unicorn Gundam is pretty huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try to post a picture, maybe in the patron chat in the post show or something, because it's still on display on my desk.
Nice.
It's pretty big.
Very nice.
Gotcha. And Danny, what were you saying?
What was I saying? It'd be really cool if there was like a Stardust Speedway zone where it looks like you're racing Metal Sonic.
That would be
just the rails where you're racing, or even like the little room where he sits on his little metal throne, and there's the little silver Sonics on the side. So many, just anything from Sonic Mania, you could pull it out and get like a little snapshot of any screenshot from the game and make that into a Lego set. It's just so prime for that.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is.
Or Death Egg Robot.
Speaking of, you just said Prime for that. That's just kind of randomly made me remember Sonic Prime is also a thing. We haven't really heard too much about it lately, so hopefully it's supposed to be 2022. So
we should start hearing about it soonish.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know we could literally talk about all the good ideas for Lego Sonic ideas forever because there are so many, but we actually do have some other stuff to talk about. So let's go ahead and move on to our third story of the day, one of our main stories, and this is actually some good news, some rare good news. What at least it seems to be good news. So let's go ahead and get that up on screen. So we've talked a lot lately about the dumpster fire of Activision Blizzard, and how difficult things are in the industry for women and people of color and the LGBTQ plus community. But this isn't another bad story about Activision Blizzard. This is actually a positive story, I think, about Riot Games, who have agreed to settle the gender discrimination lawsuit brought against them in 2019 for $100 million, with $80 million of that going to the women who worked at Riot between 2014 and the present day, and the other $20 million going to the plaintiffs' legal fees. And as part of this, Riot also agreed to various workplace reforms. Now, I don't know the relative, $80 million is obviously being split between all the women who worked at Riot between 2014 and now. I don't know how much that means they actually get, so I don't know how positive this figure actually is. But the fact that they are having to pay out this much at all and basically settled, and it seems like everyone got what they wanted here in terms of the women who've been harassed and subject to, you know, this horrific abuse. And the suit came after Kotaku published an expose about the culture of sexism at Riot Games, which, you know, manifested in behaviors like unwanted advances and harassment to a hiring and promotion process that ignored female candidates for being insufficiently into gaming and League of Legends. So it seems like Riot is getting the screws put to him for this, and I love to see it. But the screws put to him, yeah, no, I love to see it. And but how are you guys feeling about this?
Just good news. Good, no, you go ahead, Brandon.
Good news. I don't have much of a take other than, like, from the outside looking in, it's, I guess, difficult to know what kind of lasting change this will, you know, like I mean, because they say that they're going to be, like, monitored so that they actually, like, have a big change in workplace culture and stuff like that, which is good. Mm. It'll probably take time to see what the results for that will be, but I'm glad that there are consequences, and I'm
yeah.
It doesn't. Although, it's not in exchange for, like, the lives that were ruined because of it, but
right.
It's something, and I think game studios need to learn that there are consequences for having work cultures like this.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Agreed. Although, as Fangs points out in our live audience patron chat, a lot of the abusers listed in the Blizzard lawsuit are still working at Riot even after the lawsuit. So, as always, there's still work to be done, and it doesn't go quite as far as I think we all here would like to see it go.
Oh, my camera overheated.
Oh no! Oh no! Don't just be safe. Don't let it explode or anything, man.
Do you need to
let it cool off?
Oh yeah. That's fine. We're good.
Yeah.
we got you.
Cool.
So I was reading a bit more of this article, and there's some interesting things in here, particularly this one paragraph where it says Riot Games agreed to settle the suit in 2019 for $10 million, but California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing intervened, blocking the agreement with a court filing in which the agency argued that the victim should be entitled to as much as $400 million. And so they still came in $300 million less than what they were supposedly supposed to be paid. That said, I did see also that at least 2,300 workers are eligible for part of this settlement, and I did some quick math, and that roughly comes out to about $34,780 per person. That's not including taxes. Taxes will likely get taken out of that as well. So.
And that's just the bare minimum too. At least 2,300, but it's probably more.
So we're gonna guess about 30,000 per person, which, you know, I'll take $30,000. I don't want to be harassed, but $30,000 sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been subject to harassment like that, so, you know, I'm the last person who's going to comment on, oh, that's enough, oh, that's good enough. That's not for me to decide, but that is a nice chunk of change, and I'm glad they're getting it. But I imagine it will be a lot less after taxes and what the actual number of employees amongst whom this is being divided turns out to be.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we still have situations where we're going to have situations like this for a long time. It's going to take a long time for the landscape of the work environment within this circle to finally, like, slowly start changing in this way. And this is a good thing. This isn't a bad thing at all. This is something that we needed to have happen, and continuing to see this happen going forward. Implementing some of the changes that Riot Games is agreeing to, such as the workplace policy reforms that they have, saying that they'll include greater transparency around pay scale for job applicants, not relying on prior salary history to set employees' pay or assign job titles, and the creation of a pipeline for current or former temp agency contractors to apply to work for Riot Games. Also saying that they will also implement a policy requiring the presence of a woman or member of an underrepresented community on employment selection panels. This sort of thing is, if we could see this in more workplace situations like this, I think we could slowly start to see the changes that we need to have been made yesterday.
But we're at the starting line now.
Yeah.
This is just, but yeah.
Becca,
but also
Becca in the
oh,
Patreon chat does point out that taxes don't come out of settlements. So
nice.
That is, there is that. So that works out for that. The other thing, I was just curious about this. So I did some, again, more quick math, but I just took it times 4. Because we got 100 million. Could have been entitled to as much as 400 million. So I took the 20 million that was taken out towards legal fees and just, put it to 80 million. So for the 320 million that would have been left from that, again, I don't know how it exactly works. I'm just doing some rough numbers here. But it does show just how much people would have, how much more they would have gotten if they had gone for the full amount, which again, it would have been a 10 million otherwise if this hadn't gone through. But at 400 million, roughly, and discounting the legal fees, they would have been entitled to about $139,000 per person.
Woo!
That's with the 2,300 workers. So because it didn't go for the full 400 million, it didn't get the full 400 million. They missed out on $100,000 per person, roughly.
Right. Wow. Which
they tried to lowball it there with the other one.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting too, Daniel, you were mentioning that as part of all this, as part of the reform, the workplace reforms, you were saying they're implementing a policy requiring the presence of a woman or member of an underrepresented community on employment selection panels, which on the face of it sounds great. That's what they should be doing. And that's what everybody should be doing anyway, without having to be sued for it. But how big are those employment selection panels? Is it one person out of 3? Is it one person out of 30?
Yeah,
it's like, that's you kind of have to read between the lines and be like, okay, what they're saying they're going to do sounds good, but how do the actual numbers break down? And, one woman or person of color or person from an underrepresented community out of 30 is not good numbers. That's not a good divide. So you kind of have to look at it from that. But and as, let's see, I think it was Chill Cobra mentioned in our patron chat, we can't take the pressure off of Riot. They need to follow through on their promises, which, they can say all this, but they do need to follow through. And as part to that point, this article also says that Riot has to be monitored by a third party for 3 years. That party will oversee human resource complaints, how they are handled, and whether employees of all genders are being paid fairly. The third party, which could be an individual, must be approved by both the company and the DFEH. If the monitor discovers Riot Games needs to improve its practices, they can recommend changes to implement, which the judge presiding over the suit may enforce. So there is going to be some follow-up here, which is good.
Yeah, that's the other part, is that they have to be heavily monitored with multiple third parties in order to make sure that this is something that they're actually, meeting the requirements of as per regulated or. So how that turns out, we'll see.
Because, like all of you, I don't think I would trust Riot to enforce this themselves. I wouldn't trust them as far as I can throw them, which is not at all.
Reason.
So, so I'm glad there's going to be some follow-up monitoring done here. But I just, we got to get to the point where this shit isn't happening and being exposed because companies are being sued. We got to get to the point where this shit just isn't happening, period. It doesn't even begin to happen. And, there's obviously a lot more work to be done on that front, especially with companies like Activision Blizzard, which really seems to only get worse, just worse and worse and worse, unbelievably. But I hope that, 10 years from now, things have trended in the right direction. There are always going to be bad faith actors who are trying to take advantage of people and harass people and keep marginalized voices silenced. And all we can do is hope that there are more of us on the other side who are pushing for those voices to have a platform and who don't want to see workplace harassment continue to be the future in gaming, because it's not. We got to be better. But this is at least good news on the face of it. Can it go further? Always. Yes. But it's still good news and not yet more super negative. Oh, guess what Activision Blizzard did now? That kind of story.
Those rascals.
Yeah. And, Becca makes a great point in live audience patron chat. It needs to be women and people of color in employment panels, not either or.
Very much so.
And people from the LGBTQ plus community as well, not one or the other, all of the above. Yep. People need to be represented at all levels of these companies to affect the change that we need to see at the lower levels. And
Mega Minton in the YouTube chat brings up another good point. This kind of lawsuit has a lot of positives about it. Other companies notice and take action, if only to prevent this kind of thing happening to them. So
right.
As much as I want to be hesitant of, like, oh yeah, Riot's finally fixed, good job for them.
Oh, they're not fixed.
Yeah. It's too early to celebrate that sort of thing, but companies like money and they don't like paying money for lawsuits. So
yeah.
That is, and as much as I guess it sucks from that perspective of like the only reason you're doing this is because you don't want to get sued, but like you should be wanting to do the right thing in the first
you would
place.
think, but...
you would think,
you would think, and yeah. So I have a feeling we're going to be talking about stuff like this for a long time to come on the show and just in general. But hopefully, things are trending in the right direction. Change takes a long time. The change shouldn't need to happen in the first place. People just need to learn not to be awful. People should just treat each other with respect. But unfortunately, we can't. I know, what a thought, right? Treat everybody with respect and dignity, and don't sexually harass anybody. What a thought. What a thought. But hopefully we'll get there. We do have some other news to discuss today, but I thought it was nice to highlight a positive happening on this front, as opposed to just talking about the latest horrible thing Activision Blizzard did. So, before we get on to the rest of the news, we do have a couple of more super chats. First is another one from Sonic and Mega Man 531 with $2 more. Thank you very much. Bakugo versus MHA. Is that
My Hero Academia?
Yeah,
My Hero Academia, right. Versus Vi from Arcane. You choose. I have only seen Arcane, so I just have to choose Vi because she's the only one I know.
I've only seen My Hero, so I have to go with Bakugo.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't say.
I've only seen My Hero, and I don't like Bakugo, so I'm gonna choose Vi.
I'm a Bakugo fan. He has a good character arc. He starts out trash. He starts out utter trash, but he does get better.
It's a little jerk.
Yeah. I think Becca is about to say, she just said, wait, what, Ash? And I'm guessing maybe you mean that I haven't watched My Hero yet. And I have had a lot of friends tell me that I should watch My Hero. It's just a matter of having the time to do it, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm definitely interested in it. It's something that's on my anime radar. My problem is I love watching anime, and I will watch as much as I can. But given the choice, with free time, I'm always going to prioritize getting through games on my backlog or playing whatever I'm playing as opposed to watching anime. But I want to do both. So yeah,
it's hard to make time for it all. It just is.
It really. Next is Bluesikin. I love that name. Bluesikin with $9.99 saying, excited to play Chrono Trigger DS after buying it with Christmas money at a local store. Time to see if Ash is right and if a teenager, myself, can still enjoy it. Well, I can tell you whether or not Ash version of it. Yeah, you got the best version of it, and you don't have to worry about whether Ash is right. He's right in this case. Don't worry. No. I hope you enjoy it. I would be shocked if you didn't. I would give a lot to be able to experience Chrono Trigger for the first time again. It is truly a special, magical experience. And I hope you have an amazing time. But if it doesn't land with you, then it doesn't land with you, and that's totally cool. But definitely keep me updated. Post in chat. Or just reach out on Twitter. Just let me know how the Chrono Trigger experience is going for you, because I always love hearing from people who are playing CT for the first time, just hearing about their experiences, living vicariously through them, seeing how they feel about certain plot twists and scenes and things like that. So but enjoy, and thank you, Bluesikin. And next is TB Skyen with 100 Danish krone. Thank you very much. Saying, we kind of talked about a little about this before, but saying Riot almost got away with foisting a mere $10 million settlement on the plaintiffs, which the state of California, my state, go California, put a stop to happily. They tried to screw the plaintiffs the whole way through. That's not surprising. Obviously.
No, it isn't. And they actually have another message later on saying Riot CEO was on Twitter today calling the lawsuit a matter of alleged harassment and abuse.
Oh,
and he quickly deleted the tweet. Yeah. So, he learned nothing.
Yeah,
we're gonna need that
clearly
panel.
And let's
a bigger panel, guys.
And look how much money, like $100 million, is a drop in a bucket for Riot. They make so much money off of League. They're getting all these like spinoffs now with League.
They're alleged. Off with that.
California really puts his fist down for these.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff is so exhausting because just from our point of view, it's like it's so easy to just be a decent person. It is so easy not to treat people like shit. It is so easy not to sexually harass people, to treat people with dignity. Yet these people in management positions at these companies act like it is just the most difficult foreign concept to them imaginable. And I'm just like, just own up to the shit you did. I don't get it.
People are bad at
I'll never
apologies.
get it.
People are very bad at
really,
apologies.
really are. But well, that's all the super chats for now. Be better. Exactly. That's really what it comes down to. Just be better. But speaking of being better, we have a list of what are apparently the top 100 best games of all time to talk about. Courtesy of
I'm sure this will be very agreeable.
This is going to be interesting. So let's get this next news story up on screen. All right, so TV Asahi has ranked the top 100 games of all time according to Japanese gamers. They put out the vote. Japanese viewers weighed in on their top 100 games of all time, and clearly there's going to be no argument whatsoever. This is the top 100 objective, set in stone, best games of all time. Clearly nobody's going to have any divergent opinions here, but I'll just read out the top 10, and then we can kind of cherry pick other entries that we find interesting. But according to Japanese gamers via TV Asahi, the top 10 games of all time are, starting with number 10, Super Mario Bros. 3. Number 9 is Final Fantasy X. Number 8 is Chrono Trigger. Number 7 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 6 is Dragon Quest 3. Number 5 is Splatoon 2. Number 4 is Animal Crossing New Horizons. Number 3 is Final Fantasy VII. Number 2 is Dragon Quest V. And number 1 is Zelda Breath of the Wild.
That's not a bad top
That's
10.
Just the first 10. No, not a bad top 10. I mean,
extremely solid. I'm actually scrolling through the full list right now.
I will say this right now. I love that the Japanese players have the correct opinion and chose to put Super Mario Bros. 3 in the top 10 while putting Super Mario World at number 97. That is the correct placement.
That's
3 is better than World.
Terrible.
That hurts.
3 is better than World.
I have an issue with that only because, look, I get that there, you can totally get or think that 3 is better than World, and I know that's like obviously a huge point of contention, but 97 is way too low.
That is pretty down
for Super Mario World. Like,
that is very far down. There's a lot of, as somebody said, there's some recency bias with this. There's no way Earthbound Beginnings is better than Super Mario World. I'm sorry.
Right. Like, what? That was one of the ones that stood out to me the most, is Earthbound Beginnings being above Super Mario World. And really, let's be honest, Earthbound Beginnings being there at all, not a bad game, but it hasn't aged well, and I don't think it belongs on any list of the top 100 games of all time. Earthbound, sure. Earthbound does. But Beginnings? I don't know about that.
Kingdom Hearts 2 is the highest Kingdom Hearts game, which I can agree with that.
I can get behind that. But what I can't get behind is number 11 is Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, which I guess just for me personally, that's my
it is the highest rated
generation.
Pokemon.
That can't be. Yeah. I'm so confused
it
because
has to be under recency bias there.
Yeah, so like Diamond and Pearl, Sword and Shield, and Red and Green are the top Pokemon. What?
Black and White, and then you have number 36 is the original Pokemon Gold and Silver, and then all the way in 64 is Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which is objectively the better version of this game.
Yeah.
Also, as Rob reminds us, I should have mentioned this earlier. Thank you for the reminder, Rob. The sample size here is 50,000 people, so this obviously isn't representative of every gamer in Japan, but representative of 50,000 of them. Thank you for the reminder.
I'm angry at the entire country of Japan.
Yeah.
How dare they?
Oh my God! I just saw. Okay, there's some really interesting ones here when you look at how they're lined up, because Dragon Quest II beat out Final Fantasy XIV. Dragon Quest II has some issues towards the end there. It is bugged, and there are so many enemies in the final dungeon that can insta-kill you. It is
I find it interesting.
Terrible.
I find it interesting that Splatoon 2 is in the top 10, and yet Splatoon 1 is number 21, not that far down. Yeah. Only because I always kind of figured Splatoon 2 more or less not had validated Splatoon 1, but kind of replaced it. And I'm shocked to see both ranking so highly here, but no hate on Splatoon. But.
Also, I did see other people mention that no Metroid games, because Japan does not care about Metroid.
Yeah, Japan's not as big on Metroid. One thing oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think unless I'm reading it wrong, I think Monster Hunter World is the highest Monster Hunter, and it's at 70, which is really surprising to me.
Yeah.
For such a Japan-centric series on a and World is amazing and popular, but that was sort of like the one to appeal to us,
right?
So I would have thought there'd be other Monster Hunters. I might not be seeing it, but that was a big surprise to me.
Daniel, I'm curious because you are a Tales fan. How do you feel about the first Tales game? I haven't seen there's others, but Tales of the Abyss, number 53.
Yeah, the first and only. I was about to say the first and only Tales game on this is Tales of the Abyss, and yep, they got some pretty good opinions there. It's either that or Symphonia. Like the three that the same team made, Symphonia, Abyss, and Vesperia. Those are all really highly regarded and very well made Tales games. So
I didn't hear about Abyss.
If any of them, if anything popped up on there, Tales of the Abyss is a very good game. So good on you, Japan. But I'm still questioning some of your opinions on this this list and placements.
What's also weird, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the only Mana game on here is number 82, Legend of Mana, which Legend of Mana is a perfectly good game, maybe even a great game. But I don't know if most people would rank it above Secret or Trials of Mana. I wouldn't rank it above Secret of Mana at the very least. So that's kind of surprising. And also, talking about recency bias, how is Pokemon Sword and Shield at number 14, given the vociferously negative opinions so many fans seem to have about it?
Just shows you a quiet majority or a loud majority in that case.
It is one of the best selling in the series, so
right.
I can't be too upset at that.
I think every gen is on this list somewhere, and some of the remakes are as well. Which
is
kind of mind blowing.
I will say there's some interesting some interesting inclusions here. I would point out the Momotaro Electric Railway, but Japan loves trains. That
exactly
makes perfect sense to me. Apex Legends being 30. That's interesting. That's weird. Xevious at 62. Where is it? Ghost of Tsushima. I didn't realize Japan loved that game so much. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Me neither.
I saw
I was going to say neither the Blue Bomber nor the Blue Blur appear anywhere on this list. No Sonic, no Mega Man on this list at all. That's a bit sad.
Kirby's Air Ride made the list.
Yeah,
I'm good. Everyone play Kirby's. You might as well just say City Trial made the list. That's number 6.
Yeah, City Trial. And speaking of Kirby, I was going to point that out. The highest ranked Kirby game is Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which, hey, great game, but I'm surprised to see it the highest ranked Kirby game on the list.
True.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Daniel. Yeah.
It's so confusing. Like we got Persona 5 at 42, but then you see Persona 5 Royal at 93, which is with all of its tweaks and improvements. Like what?
You'd think it'd be a bit bigger, but. Yeah.
And how is Pokemon Diamond Pearl number 11 and Pokemon Platinum is number 99? Either they should be roped together, or would Platinum be considered the better one? Like, that's so weird.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, Game Belt Summit pointing out no Castlevania on the list.
No Castlevania, that's true.
There's the highest ranked Western game is Undertale, which, considering that, it is kind of amazing that Sans wasn't a full-on character and not just a costume in Smash Ultimate.
I do appreciate that the correct Metal Gear Solid game is ranked highest on this list, being Snake Eater at number 18. Love to see it. Snake Eater is an incredible game. I also like the trio at 27 through 29. Dragon Quest 11, Earthbound, and Okami. Very nice. I would rank all of those higher, but I'm glad they're here.
Highest ranked Final Fantasy is 7. That's not too surprising. 7 and 10 beat out 6.
Yeah, which is right next to 5 and ahead of 9 over at number 33. So 33 is FF6, 34 is FF5, and 37 is FF9, which is just interesting. Interesting placements here.
Yeah.
Xevious is number 62. randomly, Xevious is here on the list. Okay, sure. I do appreciate that Smash Ultimate made the top 10. I think that's absolutely a deserved placement. Yeah. Definitely. Chrono Trigger made the top 10. I would have put it at the top 1, but hey,
feels pretty appropriate that Dragon Quest Builders 2 made the list.
Yeah, agreed.
Better than Minecraft. I'll say it.
Oh, fighting words.
Spicy.
Yeah. Dragon Quest 10 made number 44, which we'll never know how it is because we can't play it over here.
Yep.
In the West.
Ranked higher than Final Fantasy 14, so that's interesting. Bring it to the West.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
I do
you
enjoy
heard it first
that.
from Japan. Dragon Quest 10 is better than 14.
I enjoyed that Donkey Kong Country is at number 57.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But not even DKC 2, just the original.
Wow.
Just the original one.
Animal Crossing 64, the one that we never got, made 75.
Mm-hmm.
Also interesting, there's only 2 Fire Emblem games on the list. Three Houses at 23 and Genealogy of the Holy War at 94.
It's apparently the next best Fire Emblem. Yeah, that one is very much beloved by the audience that has played it, because they're the only audience that has played it.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Right.
Be nice.
And weirdly enough, maybe I missed it, but I see Smash Ultimate's number 7, Smash 64 is number 61, and Smash Brawl is at 74. Did Melee not make it?
Nope.
That's wild.
Melee did not make
wild. Wow, that's pretty wild that Melee didn't even make it at all. And again, Earthbound Beginnings being on here is just so... Some of these are really odd. Some of these are really
very,
odd.
very odd.
But it's a fun list to kind of deconstruct and talk about.
Yeah, it's one of those you go through and be like, you when you consider the relations of certain games to others, it's like, wow, that's really interesting that these ended up in those positions, or these ranked higher than these. Like, I'll be honest, Dragon Quest V being number 2, that makes complete sense to me. It beating out 7, like it is regarded as the best Dragon Quest to a lot of people. So.
But it's interesting, no Castlevania, and yet 2 Suikoden games made it. Suikoden 1 and 2 made it, which nothing against Suikoden, but it's just wild to think that Konami is represented solely by Suikoden and Metal Gear. But no Castlevania made it, which is pretty wild. Did Street Fighter make it?
Street Fighter 2 at 91.
Okay, so it just barely edged in there.
I think that's the only fighting game on the list.
And other than Smash,
it feels like a very RPG heavy.
Very RPG heavy.
How do we feel about Breath of the Wild at number 1? Like, how do we feel about Breath of the Wild at number 1?
Recency bias, but also it is really good. So
I can't. Obviously, it's not my favorite game of all time. But you know what? If somebody said like, Breath of the Wild and they're number 1, I'd be like, yeah, sure.
I have no complaints against that. It's a fair
king.
Yeah.
And to everyone in our live audience patron chat, like Becca, new taco, new salad, saying Melee is overrated, isn't a good game. I'm just more surprised not to see it here because of just how much. I agree. I think Melee is a bit
Western list. That's why.
But it is. Exactly. If it was a Western list, Melee would be on here for sure.
But I'm surprised, despite it not being a Western list, Dead by Daylight made the list. That's wild.
Right?
Yeah.
And as Irish
just weird ones.
As Irish Jackamon points out, there's no Smash 3DS and Wii U on the list, which that's true, but I feel like Ultimate kind of, in its own way, invalidates Smash 4. Kind of supplants it, whereas Melee isn't quite, it's not really replaced by any other game on the list. So, like in the same way Smash 4 is by Ultimate. So, just kind of interesting. But, Breath of the Wild being number 1 is definitely, I would say, a case of recency bias. Although you can't also, sell it short. Breath of the Wild is an incredible game. I rank it number 1 of all time? No. But it's really damn good. So, no Wind Waker, though. Wind Waker didn't make it.
Nope. No Wind Waker.
That hurts. No Wind
Waker. But no Twilight Princess either. I think the only two...
No Twilight Princess either.
Skyward Sword made it. Majora's Mask made it. Ocarina of Time made it, of course.
Weird. Yeah, weird that...
The original Legend of Zelda made it.
Justice for Wind Waker.
Mario RPG made it at number 69. Oh, right. Nice. But Mario RPG is on there. Just a really interesting list by TV Asahi based on 50,000 Japanese gamers and their responses, which, really cool to talk about and kind of just break down. I'm glad. I wasn't sure how much discussion we would get out of this, but I'm glad I was right.
There's definitely some things to talk about just how they relate to each other. It's just like, what?
It's some oddities. Again, it is a very specific kind of
holy crap,
specific kind of taste. But
Game Belt Summit pointing out no Link to the Past.
Woo!
Wow, that's weird. That is garbage. A Link to the Past absolutely is one of the best games of all time.
Where's Link Between Worlds? That one should have been here. I love it.
A Link Between Worlds is fantastic too. Yeah, man, that is actually kind of ridiculous that a Link to the Past isn't on there. And again, I don't care if you like Mario 3 or Mario World more, but Mario World being at 97 or whatever it is compared to Mario 3 being in the top 10 that's
painful.
Ridiculous. That is actually ridiculous.
I think the only Mario Kart on there is Super Mario Kart. Yeah, I think Brandon's about to say
there's also Mario Kart Wii, which is
that's right.
absurd because Wii is, at least in my opinion, not a very good Mario Kart, even though it sold like hotcakes. But Super Mario Kart being as high as it is, that's just one of those things where I'm like, I think people oversell how well that game is aged. It was revolutionary at the time. It was a classic. It deserves all the respect it gets, but I don't think it's actually that fun to play today.
Oh, Super Mario Kart?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the original Mario Kart. Personally.
It's hard to play now.
Yeah.
The first good Mario Kart is Double Dash, actually. But,
Ooh, the first good one. Yikes.
First good Mario Kart.
Ooh. Dang.
So Super 64 and Super Circuit, none of them are good games?
Super Circuit definitely is not.
Yeah, I've played Super Circuit. Super Circuit's not good.
Beehive, all right?
As Frequent Positron points out, Mario Kart Wii does have Coconut Mall. Great track. I just didn't like the game wrapped around it, but I do like that track a lot. Good point. All right. Well, we do
chaos in the patron chat.
Oh, you have.
Boy.
Oh,
good.
All according to plan.
And Moon Knight. Yes, I really do mean it. I think Super Mario Kart just isn't as fun to play today. I just don't think it's aged that well. But I think it was revolutionary at the time for sure.
Yeah.
I have all the respect.
Same with 64. Mario Kart 64.
Yeah. I mean, it's same with like games like the original Metroid. At the time, amazing. Has it aged that well? No, I'd rather play Zero Mission.
God, no.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. All right. Well, we do have one more news story to cover, but we also have a couple of more super chats to get to read out. So first is Storysmith with $4.99. Thank you very much. Saying a guy who literally sweats nitroglycerin versus a GIR or a girl versus a girl that punches really hard with metal hands. Yeah, tough to call this versus matchup. Talking about Vi versus Bakugo, I believe. So I'm guessing that you're on Bakugo's side, Storysmith, based on what you said. When you characterize it like that, fair enough. Thank you very much for your super chat. Late Night Sprites is back with $2 more. Thank you so much. Saying no Gex, Mighty Number 9, or Sneak King. Shake my head. Just kidding. Are you kidding though? Are you kidding? No. Gex, Mighty Number 9. Mighty Number 9 should be at number 9, obviously, because
of course.
Yeah, of course. Sneak King, though, unironically, should be on there. That game was so weird. But no, thank you very much, Late Night Sprites. And I'm not completely sure you're kidding. Thaddeus Feeney with $5. Thank you. Saying nearly that entire list is biased. There's no way Breath of the Wild is the best game ever. Remember the breakable weapons? I mean, the list is obviously biased. It's going to be biased towards JRPGs, being a Japanese list. There's a little bit of recency bias, but you know, some people really love the breakable weapons in Breath of the Wild.
Weapons is a good system.
So you would not use nearly as many weapons if your weapons didn't break. I will put that out there. I do not mind the breakable weapons.
I think the balance gets a little wacky at the end of the game.
Yeah,
but like
for the majority of it, I think it's a system that fits the majority of the experience.
Yeah, and I'm not usually a fan of breakable equipment in games, but I think it works for Breath of the Wild. I think it's an important part of Breath of the Wild's gameplay cycle. So, there are other reasons I don't think Breath of the Wild should be number 1, but breakable weapons isn't one of them.
Yeah, that's like one of my. That's like a very low. I have critiques of Breath of the Wild. You know, it's not my favorite personally, but the weapons breaking is fine. It's fine. You get over it.
Yeah.
Frequent Positron reminding us of the all-time best marketing line for a game ever. Mighty Number 9 makes you cry like an anime fan on prom night. I still can't believe that made it through.
Well, I didn't go to my prom because I was watching anime and I was crying. So I guess they got me.
Oh man, they got you. They got the target audience.
Oh man,
I'm the target audience for Mighty Number 9.
Right. All right, and then one more super chat for now. Once again from Sonic and Mega Man 531 with $2. Thank you very much. Asking us Pac-Man versus Danny Phantom.
I guess Pac-Man because he's eating ghosts.
Yeah, I was gonna say Danny's a ghost, so like
that's true.
Get eaten.
Good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I haven't watched Danny Phantom. Yeah. I haven't watched Danny Phantom, but it's in the name, Danny Phantom. He's a ghost.
Yeah,
so
he's literally a ghost. So Pac-Man would just eat him for lunch.
Yeah, he can't capture Pac-Man in the thermos, so he's kind of screwed.
Yeah, really.
Well, Sonic and Mega Man 531, you just provided me with the perfect segue into our final news story because we are talking about one of my favorite Bandai Namco series yet again. So let's go ahead and get that up on screen. So, if you've been watching TNT for a while, you know I've been a long-suffering Klonoa fan because Bandai Namco have been teasing us now, I think for like the better part of a couple of years now, with these trademark filings suggesting that Klonoa remasters or re-releases are coming to modern platforms. We got Katamari Encore, which is known as Katamari Damacy Reroll here. They trademarked Klonoa Encore so long ago now. I don't even know how long ago. Over a year ago. And there have been various other trademark updates, but still no actual announcement. And now the latest saga and the latest chapter in this saga has come to bear December 22nd. So this is about a week old. This happened before the holiday break. But Bandai Namco trademarked Klonoa Phantasy Reverie Series in both Canada and Europe, as well as the US. And this is the closest we've gotten to having an actual bespoke name for whatever this might be. It seems like it's going to be like Klonoa 1 and 2 re-releases. And to recap, actually, as the Gematsu article very helpfully does here. So in September 2019, Bandai Namco trademarked Klonoa Encore in Japan. And Encore, as I just mentioned, is the subtitle Bandai Namco uses for its remastered game releases in Japan, like Mr. Driller, Katamari. And then, in September 2021, 2 years later, Bandai Namco trademarked Wahoo Encore and 1 and 2 Encore. And as Gematsu so helpfully notes, Wahoo, or Wahoo, is the catchphrase of Klonoa. And now, here we are, with Klonoa Phantasy Reverie being trademarked in the US, Canada, Europe. Bandai Namco just announced the damn thing already, man! Like, what? Why are you doing this to me, to us, all of us long-suffering Klonoa fans? Brandon, I gotta ask, since you're our special guest, I haven't talked to you about Klonoa before. Do you have a history with this series? Do you love it the way I do? How are you feeling about Klonoa?
I've never played a Klonoa game, but I like platformers. I like 3D platformers, so it looks it looks cute. It looks super my jam. So I would, if the smoke, if there's fire to the actual smoke, and this is like a remaster coming. Yeah, I'd be down. It's just one of those things I missed, back in the day.
I mean, it's hard to play now, other than the original. It's kind of the original, but
yeah, and that's why this is so potentially exciting for them doing, Klonoa re-releases on modern platforms, especially Klonoa 2. Lunatea's Veil is even better than the first game, in my opinion. Derek, I think you probably agree. And and it's so hard to play on modern platforms. It is even harder to play than Klonoa 1. So there are so many reasons they should re-release these games. And also, it's kind of a tangential subject, but related to this. Klonoa. Bandai Namco just released their 2022 holiday calendar, and their 2022 company calendar, and it includes new art of Klonoa. So I want to say where there's
has been drawing Klonoa.
Yeah. Somebody enjoys it, and he's surfing, which is a thing he does on the PS2, but I mean that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It really feels like everything's kind of slowly falling into place, and we just sort of need that last little piece of the puzzle, which is an official announcement.
Yeah.
Would be nice.
Top Dog asks if you can play Klonoa games on Xbox. No, you can't, and that's part of what we're talking about. These games are very, very difficult to play if all you own is modern platforms, and that's why such a re-release of these games would be so exciting. And hey, if maybe it's not just 1 and 2, maybe we'll get the GBA games, as part of this compilation.
Or maybe get some translations of Klonoa games we never got in the West.
Right.
Spicy mentioned that where was it? Klonoa Densetsu no Star Medal it's an action RPG.
I would love to see. That never got.
What?
Yeah, that never got released here, which would be. Yeah, Klonoa does really interesting things in whatever genre he kind of decides to try out. I mean, his main games are like 2.5D platformers where you can literally use enemies as jumping blocks. It's really like basically what the whole shtick, Brandon, is that he infuses enemies with air. He blows them up and then uses them as platforms to get higher. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And there's
some really neat ideas.
Whimsical animated aesthetic, but it belies a really dark tone for the stories, as Derek can attest to.
Oh yeah.
And
kind of Kirby-ish.
I would say so, actually.
Or maybe in the same part of the Venn diagram, maybe.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, because Kirby has that very same hyper colorful, cartoony, warm aesthetic, but then you've got the Eldritch Abomination bosses and gods that he eventually fights. And Klonoa is a bit like that. Not quite the same. It's more in the darkness comes more through the themes of the stories, and less so the character designs, but they get really dark. And
Kirby.
Yeah.
We need to at least get if this is a collection, we need to at least get the true star of the show released on the original PlayStation, Klonoa Beach Ball Volleyball.
Obviously.
It's the only way.
I just hope that, depending on what this turns out to be, hoping it turns out to be anything, that Klonoa 1, either we get both the original PS1 game and the remake for Wii, or just the PS1 game. The remake was good. It's a good remake, but it does lose a bit of the charm, and I think the darkness in the story of the original. And I still like it, but if I had to choose, I'd take the PS1 original. But I'd like to have both. It'd be great to have both. So, yeah, we'll see. I just the next time I talk about this, I want it to be because it has been announced. God damn it! This has been 2 years now, as this Gematsu article reminds us. This has been going on for 2 years. More than 2 years. Oh, yeah, because the original Klonoa Encore trademark happened in September 2019.
We'll just blame COVID.
Blame COVID.
Oh, it's COVID's fault.
No, but I do. If I had to bet, and somebody said, "Hey, gun to your head, is this going to be is Klonoa Encore a thing? Are they going to be re-releases?" I would say yes. I do think there's
enough smoke
fire situation. Yeah. I think we're going to get.
Like it's time.
I think it's happening. It's just a matter of when at this point. But I hope I'm right. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, that does just about bring us to the end of the show, but we do have one more very important super chat to read out from Toasty O's with 10 Canadian dollars. Thank you so much, saying, "Cruisin'." Hell yeah, Cruisin' Blast menu theme is the best. It's 90s perfection. I love it. Thank you very much, Toasty O's. Really appreciate that. And, well, that, gentlemen, brings us to the end of the show. But as always, before we head out, we have to ask you, Brandon, please, to tell our amazing audience where on the internet they can find you and your awesome work, dude.
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Brandon Bovia. That's just my name. Very easy to find. I talk about pretty much whatever comes to my mind. I feel like I've gained a small following over the past few years, just because I like to do a lot of deep dives into what makes my work interesting. I guess working on manga takes a lot of time. There's a lot of thought being put into a process that I guess people usually aren't very familiar with. So I guess some people find it interesting. I really just like to ramble about the stuff that I work on. So I did since the first volume of Kaiju number 8 came out at the beginning of the month. I did a huge breakdown of all the choices I made in regards to the sound effects and the dialogue lettering and stuff like that, and really just hyping it up because it's just awesome. And so I try to do that every time I don't do it for everything. There's a lot of work that I don't talk about just because I'm I can't say anything more interesting other than it's out. It's just
it's a thing.
It's just there and more of the same. But yeah, I like to talk about the manga I'm working on and just manga I'm reading, games I'm playing, the works. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, I'm also I'm the co-host of a One Piece podcast upcoming on Derek's channel.
Nice.
So if you want
should
to
be launching
listen,
next week.
Yeah, if for some reason you're not getting enough of me, I will be a place on the internet.
We will have him consistent every week.
We can never get enough of Brandon Bovia.
You can't get rid of me. I'm here.
Well, dude, it has been our honor and pleasure to have you on the show again. Thank you so much for joining us. I love chatting with you, and you do. We obviously love you in our community. You're, a valued, beloved community member, and you're one of our amazing moderators for YouTube chat and such as well. So thank you for everything you've done for the community, for GVG. We just love you, man, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much. It means the world to me, really.
Well, to us as well. Yeah, man. And our very own Derek said in the live audience patron chat, "Somebody needs to freaking tell me to turn off the intro. I keep forgetting until it's too late." To which Rob replied, said, "Derek, reminder for Friday."
Yeah, thanks for calling me out, Ash. I try to remember each time, but I get so involved in the conversation. So we got a little clip of it when we get back to this point.
No, I was mainly calling out Rob's reminder for you for Friday. I wasn't.
Oh, I saw it.
You do an amazing, dude. Let there be no confusion or anything. You do an amazing job hosting this show, the hosting the stream. I wasn't calling you out, man. You do an amazing job. All right. Well, with that said, we are at the end of episode 172 of today's News Tonight. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us and watching. We love you all. We love doing this show. It's a blast. Thank you. But as always, we do have to give a special thank you to all of our patrons at the producer tier and above for helping to make this show happen, because without you, it would not be happening. And as I said, we love doing this show with you and hanging out with you, talking about games. It's the best. So thank you very much for making today's News Tonight happen. But also, as always, we have to give an extra special shout out to all of our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And those fine, wonderful, amazing, incredible, awesome folks include... Hey, I know this guy, Brandon Bovia.
Hey!
I'm blacked out because of my freaking camera again.
Yeah. Brandon Bovia, Rob Arman X, Fangs, Dan and Twistle, Z Patty, Hyrule Hermit, Sky Blue Flames, Eastman 23, Adam O'Sullivan, Octopuppet, Richard Herrera, Michael Phone, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Waffle King, Romsky 113, Critter XD, Kitty Kong Fax, Angel Martinez, Vedron Hotik, happy birthday again, Joshua Hunter, Benny Yao, Azran127, Black King, Pagrima, Geller, Joseph Rutkin, Titus Malvolio, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Kyle, Top Dog 23100, Youngbin Kenobi, Doug Shomix, Andrew Medeiros, Orem M, Becca, Rocks the Cat, Killamox, Eddie B, Kai Ed, Kit Fisto, Kenneth Lee Stingle, Jessica Toad, Deaneth, Kota, Sci-Fi Lullabies, Michael McCaw, Matthew Wong, Goran Amber, Straight Lace, Justin Matthews, Hoobie, Too Much Spaghetti, Mega Conrad, Ascaron 809, Ryaner, Ditto M, Captain Finlandia, 60 Minutes and 60 Seconds, Nathan Steele, Spicy Pand Otter, The Game Orb, Dano the Artist, Super Gamer Dude 101, Grantles, Ravelox, Synchrolord, Rosa Pardo Bowling, Hasties Mom, Kotar Peck, Scuff 196, Kane Woolley, Skull Kid Tiger, Darksteel 01, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Phantom Project, Cystic Warrior 29, DJ Jurassic, Super Dank Awesome Unicorn Guy, Dinner Sonic, Darik, Jeff Ed, Stag Nasty, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Screamo Shaman, Mason Riley, Heel, Santi the Person, Brendan Hesse, Hustlebun, Noah Fitterer, Risemon, Calvin Atkinson, Hinaru77, Brooke Obscura, Tarvold, and last but certainly not least, Anthony Wilson Jr. Thank you all so much for your incredibly generous support of our channel, supporting what we do here at Good Vibes Gaming. We love each and every one of you. I love reading off that list. It brings me so much joy. Thank you so much for all of your incredible support, generosity, and belief in what we're doing. That said, if you're curious about how you can get yourself on that list, as well as check out all the other perks we offer to all of our patrons at various tiers, head on over to patreon.com/gvgaming, where you can support us at just starting at just $1 a month. Like I said, we offer a variety of tiers, all of which have their own perks at each level. It's a lot of fun, but the most important thing is that we are home to the best damn gaming community on the internet. Seriously, we have so many kind, wonderful, inclusive folks in our community, and we love each and every one of you. So thank you so much. And as a reminder, when we hit 75,000 subs right here on YouTube, we are giving away a Switch OLED model. All you got to do is be subscribed. When we hit 75K, you might win. Pretty good deal.
75K.
Yep. Exactly. With that said, we are headed to our patron-exclusive post-show right now, so we will see you next time on Friday for episode 173 of today's News Tonight. Until then, good night and good vibes. Bye, everybody.
Until we meet again, all.